Welcome! Today's lesson is going to be simple past. The simple past tense is normally used or is usually used for things that happened in the past, things that ended in the past. This tense is commonly used or is normally used with all of the past actions. For example, actions that happen in the past or happen quickly, actions that happen over time, and also or actions that were habits in the past that are no longer habits in the present. We have here some examples. Yesterday I worked on my math homework for 3 hours. So that was yesterday, so it's in the past. When he was 5, my son Hoku watched the videotape The Land Before Time every day. I didn't drink coffee in college, but I drank a lot in grad school. Did you call me last night? Where did Rob sleep last night? When you were traveling in Asia, did you call your parents every week? And finally, we have Bill didn't tell his wife about the snakes in the bathtub. Obviously, all of these examples are situated in the past, things that already happened and that are already finished. Now we're going to see the different structures in which the simple past can be used. We have the affirmative, the negative, and the way for make questions. Okay, first we're going to see the affirmative way. We have here a little formula in order for you to follow that out and be helpful for you. Okay, so it's easier. First we have the subject, then we have the verb in past, and lastly we have the reason of our sentence. So it's pretty simple. Now I'm going to tell you exactly how to convert a verb in present to a verb in past. First, you need to know there are two types of verbs. We have the regular ones and then the irregular ones. The regulars only you need to add an ed after the verb in present. For example, work. In order for make it in past, you only need to add an ed. Work, worked. Okay? Well, what happened with the irregular verbs? In this case, there is no a rule in order for them to write it out. You just need to understand them, you just need to memorize them, okay? So I know it's kind of hard, but the more that you use these irregular verbs, the more that you are going to get used to them, okay? Here we have a few examples. The first one are with regular verbs, and then we have the next ones with the irregular verbs. Ralph called his mother to wish her a happy birthday. Wayne and Gar studied Chinese in college. As you can see here, we add the ed at the end, okay? As we have seen before, in the present time, we substitute the verbs that end in a Y with an I, okay? Same is the case here. In order to write study in past, we write it studied, okay? We substitute the Y for an I. That's it, it's pretty simple. Now we have the examples with the irregular verbs. I taught high school for 7 years before teaching college, okay? Yesterday I cut my finger while I was opening a can of food. First we have the verb teach, which in past is taught, and then we have the verb cut, which is cut is still in past. As you can see here, there's no a rule in order to follow them. Simply you need to understand them, you need to memorize them. So here you have two new verbs for you to memorize and to learn. Now we have the negative structure. As you can see here, we have another formula for you to pull it out. Okay? Now this is very different from the one before. We have the subject, then we have the auxiliary did not. Okay? Then we have the verb in base form, and lastly we have the rest of our sentence. Why do we leave the verb in base form and not in the past simple? Okay, in this case the did not give us like a clue that the sentence is in past simple, so there's no need to convert the verb in base form in simple past, okay? That will be redundant and is not necessary. Now we have here some examples in the negative form. George Bush did not attend Chabot College. I didn't see Betty at the mall. Lastly, we have the structure to make questions, okay? This is kind of simple, okay? So try to pay close attention. Here we have another formula. First we have the WH question, then the auxiliary did, then the subject, then the verb. Okay? So I think it's pretty simple too. Something important here is that you can add a WH question or you can only put the auxiliary did. So depending on what you want to ask, okay? The WH question, remember that you're asking for something in a specific, okay? You want more information about something. And the did auxiliary is just for yes or no questions. You want yes of an answer or no as an answer. Now we have here some examples. Did you wash the dishes? Why did you pour ketchup on my head? Did I tell you about the party that Roseanne is having next Friday? And when did Shakespeare write A Midsummer Night Dream? Now, in this section, we are going to learn a little bit about the time expressions that are going to let us know exactly if we are talking about the past simple, okay? We have expressions like ago, the last time, the first time, last, earlier. We also have yesterday, okay? This expression let us know if we are talking about in the past simple, okay? Okay, now it's time for a fun activity. Based on the irregular verbs that we have seen here in this lesson, and the image that we have seen before, you are going to fill out the spaces, the blank spaces that we have here, okay? You are going to read and you are going to complete the story that is written here. Take a couple seconds, maybe look for the verbs if you don't know them, okay? In order for fill out this. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds in order for you to fill this out, okay? So, I'll see you in a bit. Now, let's see what you've done. Here are the real answers for this activity. Try to check out exactly the answers that you've written, okay? If you have any mistake, try to rewatch the video or try to find some exercises online and write down all of the verbs that you find in order for you to learn them, okay? Now, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.